This section of notes, we're going to be looking at the population patterns of the greater Middle East. The region has remarkable ethnic diversity because it serves as a crossroads from Northern Africa, Southwest Asia, and Central Asia with Africa, Asia, and Europe. It's kind of this middle zone between all of these different areas. First thing I want to look at is the people groups. And the first people group that I want to look at is the Arabs. On this map, you'll notice that it's looking at the traditional Middle East and not what we're referring to as the greater Middle East. It's just the best map that I could find that covers these different ethnic groups and where they live. You'll notice on this map, the Arabs are the ones that are going to be located in your yellow, light yellow, and dark yellow. Most people of the region are Arabs. In fact, 275 million people make up the Arab ethnic group. Part of this culture is that they are Islamic. They practice the Islamic faith. Many have descended from ancient groups such as the Egyptians, Phoenicians, and then the Semitic-speaking peoples, as well as the ancient Berbers. The Berbers were a group in northern Africa who continue to maintain many of their traditional nomadic and semi-nomadic ways. But the Arabic people, you can see, are located in the greater Middle East. They speak the language of Arabic. Imagine that. They're located around the Nile River as well as the Arabian Peninsula, and then they also bleed over into parts of Iran and parts of Turkey and most of modern-day Iraq. But you can see all of the areas in yellow. This is your Arab people group. And then moving on to the Israeli people group. 6.4 million people are Israelis living in Israel. 82% of Israelis are Jewish. 18% are Arabs. Jews in Israel trace their heritage back to the Israelites, who in ancient times settled in Canaan, the land shared between Israel and Lebanon. And you notice the Israeli people are the ones that are your pinkish color on this map. That's where your Israeli people are going to be located. Number 3, the Turks. The Turks are people who have occupied Anatolia. They're your green color on this map. Anatolia is the Asian part of modern-day Turkey. The Ottoman Turks later built the Ottoman Empire, which ruled much of the eastern Mediterranean world for 600 years. But the Turks are also located in this region. Then you have the Iranians and the Afghanis. 66 million people live in Iran, which was once called Persia. These groups of people speak Farsi, and 90% of these people are what's known as the Shiite Muslims. We'll get to the difference between the Shiite and the Sunni Muslim groups, but it is important for you to understand that the Shiite groups predominantly are Iranians that are living in Iran. Most of the Muslims you're going to find in the world are in fact Sunni. There are many different ethnic groups that you'll see on this map, but those 4 are the main ones that we're going to focus on throughout this unit. But you can see the distribution of some other peoples in this region, but again, those 4 are the ones that we're going to focus on. Now moving on to population and resources. The availability of water has helped determine where the people in the region have settled. You can see by this map here that there's either water, where the Nile River is, that's where the purple is, or there's natural resources such as oil, petroleum, natural gas. The desert areas have often remained very largely unpopulated, unless you have oil. Where you have oil, you have people. Urbanization has occurred, but most urbanization, or most of this region, lacks what's known as infrastructure. Infrastructure are the basic urban necessities like streets and utilities. So because a lot of this region lacks the infrastructure, urbanization has not occurred. But some areas that do have infrastructure, it has allowed for urbanization to occur. These cities, believe it or not, are located in the Middle East. This is also from one city. We'll talk about Dubai again later, but the country of the United Arab Emirates is extremely wealthy. These are just some of the images from the United Arab Emirates, one of the places that does not lack infrastructure, which is the basic urban necessities like streets and utilities, and they are in fact doing very well.